Right, today's drink sponsor is Hendrick's Gin. Thanks, Hendrick's. Great. The final item on my list is, if you can do it, why don't you do it? Now, this refers, viewer, to the lifters who perhaps make a training attempt. Let's say you're snatching 80% and you miss it, or you are unbalanced, and then suddenly the next time you're in balance, or you make the lift. Very infuriating for a coach to see a lifter perform substandard. If you can do it, why don't you do it? Michael, it's been you in the past.
Yes.
Hasn't it?
Probably a few times a week. The same sentence would be shouted through the office door. It would be
That's my window, by the way.
If you can do it, why don't you do it?
Correct. Like, I know they can fucking do it, so something has gone awry. There's some disconnect in your mental preparedness in order for you to execute properly. Because when do you need it, Mike? Opening snatch. That's when you fucking need it. That's when you need it. That's what you're practicing for. Make that fucking opening snatch. And so any lifters, not just Michael, this is, I see it all the time. Lifters who don't execute percentage lifts on the fucking dot, apply the standard every single time. Geordie, what's your recollection of, if you can do it, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah, I think it's a key thing to take. You can't do something really, really well and then do it shit the next time, or the inverse, and not be held accountable, because the standard is the utmost important thing in
Your training. Yeah.
And I think a good way of looking at it is, if you can do a before and after video in a session, with one exercise, and film a snatch and it'd be shit, film another snatch and it'd be really good. It's the same weight, and you could claim on Instagram that you've done them 2 weeks apart, then you're a fucking waste of time. You need to sort it out and address the issue.
I'm lost. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Right, well, that made sense in my head. Probably makes sense to a few people.
Somebody would film 2 snatches in one session and broadcast them 2 weeks apart?
Let me explain my point there, right? You've got 3 singles at 90%, let's say.
I understand that.
Yeah. The first one is you've been folded like a deck chair, you've lifted really badly, blah, blah, blah. The second one, you nail, and it's bob on, yeah? Which is where if you can do it, why didn't you do it?
Correct.
Is applicable. Now, if you have the ability to play that first snatch and then play the second snatch and then say, I've put 3 weeks of work in and this is the result, then that's not good. Does that make sense?
Not at all.
Not really.
I'm fucking Mike, do you understand what he's talking about?
Yes, but no.
Right, okay. Well,
thanks. Is that like your opening sentence? It's a lift, but it's not a lift.
I think what he's trying to say is you're not trying hard enough.
I know they're not fucking trying hard enough. That's what I'm fucking saying.
But it's different from the first lift to the second lift. Why is it different?
Correct. That's my question all the time. What's going on? Why can you not do it? I think the important point here, viewer, is that you have within you the capabilities of focusing to the degree with which the standard should be applied. And the craft of being an international weightlifter, a high-level weightlifter, is having that standard every single time, up to the point whereby your fatigue levels are commensurate with the training percentage. So, for example, if you're in a very heavy strength block and suddenly there's a 90% snatch, you can take a miss at that because, your legs may be dead, and it may well be that 87% is available that day and not 90%, and so on and so forth. But really, everything that's underneath that should be absolutely nailed the whole time. There should be no steps, no imbalances. You remember that, what was that training cycle where two of you, no steps in training for months? Yeah, everything was in balance.
Pre-Samoa. Me and John sat down in Starbucks, said to ourselves, right, let's put some money on the line. We're not going to, what we were coming back and forth. We were like, right, let's not miss a lift, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, well, we're not going to go on a training cycle and miss anyway. It's very rare that we do miss in training because our percentages shouldn't allow that with periodized training. There's no reason you should be missing a 90% snatch. And that, on that day, you wouldn't be programmed 90% snatch if you're going to miss it. So we thought, right, let's apply some standards. What is the ultimate standard in our gym, in Willpower? I think it's taking a step. So you're like, right, put some money on the line.
Not taking a step.
Not taking a step.
Landing in complete balance and displaying balance from start to finish.
So for a whole training cycle, we lifted the same bar. And bear in mind, George's a 105. I'm a 67 weightlifter at the time. They're very different weights. But we can apply the same standard. And the standard was, if you take a step, you're out.
Yeah, and I think, and it was good then, because although Mike and I are very different weight categories, we're creating a competitive environment, and we're creating a competitive dynamic between each other. And the competition was who can lift to a better standard day in, day out. And I took the first step, wasn't it?
I went back up north, and Justin rang me. He said, it's happened.
Must have been 3-4 weeks in.
Oh, it's probably longer than that, you know.
Yeah, it's probably like six weeks in. And I took a step, and it was an occasion. It's like, fuck, and that's brilliant. We set the bar extremely high.
The whole gym fed off that, wasn't it? Everyone's standard was high. It was a very intense period of training where every platform was applying very good standards. It flooded all through the atmosphere. The tunes were fucking smoking. It was such a good period of training. And of course, when the international lifters are training for international competition, it elevates the excitement levels from the other trainers as well. And it just led for very intense, applied, high standard performance all the way through the training cycles. It was excellent. So that's the importance of if you can do it, why aren't you doing it?